Hi everyone, my name is Becky Fraser and I go to the Charter in Tollcross. For the past 5 years I've been a freelance artist working in the community and I really love my job. I love that I get to try new things and work with lots of different people. I love that I don't really know what the week ahead will hold, who I'll be working with or exactly what we'll be doing. It's really exciting, but also there's a hard side to this too. There's been some times where this not knowing has been really hard. At the beginning of the year I couldn't really tell you exactly what projects I'll be working on. Sometimes they'll last for a day, sometimes for a couple of weeks, sometimes some months. And this has been quite hard, especially at the beginning of my career. I used to worry that I wasn't maybe in the right field. If I didn't get a successful application or proposal submitted, I would feel a sense of failure with that. I would feel a sense of wondering whether I was in the right field and where God wanted me to be. But now as I look back over the past 5 years, I can really say testimony to a God who's provided for me. He really has provided the best things at the best times. And sometimes I've not known that at the time. Sometimes it's only been with hindsight that I've looked back and realised how much He's cared for me by what He's provided. Sometimes He's made me get work that I never thought I could get, and other times He's held back work that maybe I really wanted, but in hindsight it wouldn't have been a good fit for me and my family. I really love this verse in Deuteronomy that talks about looking back and remembering God and how His hand has brought you through. And I'm going to read that just now. He fed you with manna in the wilderness, a food unknown to your ancestors. He did this to humble you, test you for your own good. He did it so you would never think that it was your own strength and energy that made you wealthy. And that's from Deuteronomy 8, verse 16 and 17. And I really love that because in a career like mine, it can be quite easy to take pride in the proposals that you do win and the projects that you do get. You can get carried away celebrating the success of what you've done. But at the end of the day, when I look back on the last 5 years, I really see that it was God who's helped craft this slightly crazy CV of mine. And I've got a couple of tips to help you remember God providing for you in a hard time. One of these is write down some go-to Bible verses. At times when I was worried about what the next job would be, I would always turn to these and take some comfort in them. One of my other tips would be journaling. At the beginning of every year, in January, I write down some of my goals for that year or dreams. Sometimes they're really far-fetched and sometimes they're more realistic. But I really enjoy in December looking back and seeing what God has provided. Often this is really amazing. There was one year where basically everything on my list He had brought through for me. And I think looking back on this gives me hope in those times where I'm waiting to find out what my next step is. One of my other tips would be have people around you who can remind you of how God has brought you through different things in your life. I've got some close friends who, when I am in these seasons of waiting, maybe waiting for job applications to come through, or just even trying to decide what my next step is, they'll remind me of the times before where God has led me, and I take a lot of encouragement for this. I really hope wherever you are this week that you can think back on times where God has brought you through hard times, and even just speaking them out loud and remembering them with friends can really help you cling on to some hope.